So I continuously like to repeat ideas because I think this idea needs to be hammered in continuously to my audience. And that is, at the moment, there are two big ideas in the Tory party: global Britain and levelling up. As we've said multiple times before, neither can actually work without undermining the other. If you want to, quote unquote, level up Britain, that means you have to engage in protectionism, invest in the UK, and pass laws that would help protect workers and engage in, spending money in the UK. But the Tories, especially the free market fundamentalists, do not want to engage in that. So we can pretty much determine by the root of the Tory party that this is going to upset a lot of the quote-unquote Northern Research Group, although I don't know why I've just called them the quote-unquote Northern Research Group, but that is true. They haven't done a single bit of research on the North. It's just a fancy name. And of course, at the moment, with the party being led by free market fundamentalists, they are obsessed with the idea of we've got to get as much free trade as possible because somehow this will improve Britain's economy. It won't. We've been through this I don't know how many times. Trade gravity is a thing, trade flow is a thing. Doesn't matter that we've left the European Union. Trying to replace our trade with countries that are halfway around the world or trying to join the TTP. By the way, the arguments for joining the TTP, which you see many Tory Brexiteers now espousing, are the exact same arguments for joining the single market and the customs union. But there you go. And of course, Boris Johnson announcing this fantastic, amazing trade deal with India. But again, it is not a free trade deal. It covers basically fruit and vegetables. And as we mentioned only just a couple of days ago, the Mexican trade deal that we have signed essentially means that it now undermines local farmers. Once again, so much for that levelling up agenda. And of course today, because I'm in Barnsley, just down the road, the Sheffield used to be known as like the home of the steel industry in the UK. And a worldwide export. In fact, it's probably the most known city, probably next to London, outside the UK. But unfortunately, as we've said before, so much for the levelling up campaign, because the Global Britain campaign demands that you flood the market, your home market, with cheap imports. And that is exactly, unfortunately, what is about to happen to the British steel industry. An industry that is worth far more to the UK than fishing or anything else, than what the Brexiteers fantasised and dreamed about, and said that we had to do this because Brexit would save industries like this. Well, what's about to happen? Well, we'll find out. But before that, please remember to hit that like, share and subscribe button. And also down below, there is a link to my Patreon page, as well as a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, buy me coffee. And thank you to all those people that do support me that way. And as always, now, let's jump into the main article. So this comes from I don't know exactly who this comes from, but this is from the MSN.com, or could also be from the Mirror. So maybe you'll find it in both. So the title is, "The UK could be flooded with cheap steel after Brexit. The Brexit expiry date is going to be a blow to the British industry." So, steel chiefs have urged the government to extend the safeguards aimed at supporting the industry against cheap foreign imports. Measures have been in place since 2018, when the UK was still part of the EU, and were extended as part of the Brexit transition period. But they are due to expire next month, prompting fears among producers of a flood of metal from abroad. And UK Steel believes the US and EU will extend their safeguards, and they want International Trade Secretary Liz Truss to do the same for Britain. In a 3-page briefing note seen by the Mirror, The trade body says extending the UK safeguards is the only sensible course of action while the US and the EU continue with their own measures over global overcapacity, as it remains a big problem as ever. To do otherwise would unilaterally expose the UK market to significant increases in imports at the same time when the steel sector, like the rest of the economy, is in the process of recovery. The British regime sets tariff-free quotas for a range of steel-based products on 2015 to 2017 levels of imports, and only once they have been filled are tariffs then applied to any extra imports over a 3-month period. The UK Steel's briefing note says that the measures were introduced to limit further increases in imports because of dysfunctional global trading environments for steel, namely global overcapacity for steel, trade diversions resulting from US introduction of steel tariffs, and an increased use in trade defense measures globally. The measures allow for tariff-free imports equivalent to over 111% of historic levels, with further reductions every year. And this provides a careful balance between different industrial interests. It says that the deadline offers a very crucial early test of the UK's post-Brexit plan for the heavy industry. If the UK unilaterally removes its measures, it will open our market to an import surge as the sector tries to recover from COVID-19, and critically at a time where our exports to the EU and US will be subject to tariffs and quotas, UK Steel has warned. This will be the first test for the UK as an independent trading nation, and an opportunity to try and demonstrate that the UK will use its newfound trade policy independence and international rule-based system to try and provide a fair trading environment for the UK steel industry. The regime was introduced by Brussels in 2018 after Donald Trump's administration suddenly slapped 25% tariffs on all steel imports from the EU. Writing exclusively for the Mirror, the Community Steelworks union boss, Royal Rickos, says this: the UK Safe Steel Guard measures must be maintained and extended beyond June, because of our world-class steelworkers need the government to back them and support our strategic industry for the future. The safeguards were introduced due to global overcapacity and the threat of trade diversions resulting from the US steel tariffs, and the increase in growing climate of growing nationalist and protectionist sentiments worldwide. There was also a compelling reasons then, and they remain so today. The British steel industry directly employs over 33,000 workers and another 42,000 in the supply chain for jobs. According to UK Steel, salaries are 33% higher than the national average and 45% higher in Wales, Yorkshire and the Humber, where the sector is concentrated. The industry is worth $2.1 billion to Britain's economy, but 33,000 posts are in jeopardy at Liberty Steel, 11 UK plants following the collapse of the main lender, Greensill Capital, in March. And these are indeed trying times for our steel industry, but the market is on the up and our sector can play a crucial role in the nation's post-pandemic recovery. There is no doubt that our industry can have a, quote, bright future at the core of a low-carbon economy, but this will require decisive government action so our steelworkers can compete on a level playing field. Extending the steel safeguards is a vital part of this to protect our steelmakers from the consequences of devastating import surges as we recover from the impacts of COVID-19. And safeguards were also introduced durably to the overcapacity and trade diversions resulting from the US steel tariffs and in the growing climate. Is that just repeated? I think that is being repeated. Yeah, so yeah, bizarrely, yeah, that keeps on being repeated, but again, worth bearing repeating. So it should be inconceivable that a government committed to British industry, yeah, this government is not committed to British industry, would choose to leave our steel sector so unprotected when the EU and the US are set to maintain their own defences. The decision on extending the steel safeguards must be the first major test of the government's commitment to our steel industry post-Brexit. So overcapacity and steel dumping was a major factor in the collapse of the SSII steelworks on Teesside in 2015. And the government failed our steelworkers then, and this was a tragedy that must never be repeated. Britain needs our steel. Government making the wrong choice could be absolutely disastrous for steel communities, cost thousands of jobs, and rob us of our capacity to produce this critical regional resource domestically. So I do not expect that to happen at all. This government has shown that it is absolutely complicit in not supporting its own level up agenda, something that it makes a big song and dance about continuously, but it is nothing but a big show for the punters, so to say. Like I say, at the moment, with the government pretty much being run by free market fundamentalists, they do not care because they do not want these types of safeguards in place. Because if they put safeguards in place for one industry, well, then they might have to put it in for another industry as well. And like I say, these people do not like regulations. They cry and cry continuously about how the EU is so protectionist. So why on earth would they then decide to try and actually step in and help protect this own homegrown industry, when they can just buy cheap steel in from abroad? Unfortunately, I would not be surprised if in about a year's time, if not more, we unfortunately see more of the British steel industry close, which will be a great shame for Yorkshire in particular, where again so much of the steel industry is concentrated. It will be an absolute disaster, and as said there, an actual challenge to see how the UK government intends to help British heavy industry post Brexit. It ain't gonna come and help at all. Despite how much the industry cries for help, it will not. Unless it becomes a serious voter concern, then Boris might step up. But trust me, as long as these free market fundamentalists are in charge, they ain't going to lift a single finger to help out this industry. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share and subscribe button on your way out. And of course, down below there is a link to my Patreon page, as well as a one-off donation link as well called Buy Me a Coffee. And thank you to all those people that do support me that way. And as always, we'll see you all next time.